This is video number 529, and in this video we will discuss comparative government and policy, and we'll explain some of the key concepts regarding this topic. So starting with the introduction, we will discuss what a comparative government is. Comparative government is the study of how different countries are organized and ruled. It looks at who holds power, how decisions are made, and how laws are enforced in each country. This can include, for example, democratic countries like USA, Western Europe, and some other countries where people choose their leaders, or authoritarian countries like North Korea, Cuba, where power is held by a few individuals. By studying different governments, we understand how they maintain law and order, how citizens are represented, and how rights and freedoms are protected. The best way to learn about our own system is to study others. What is policy comparison? Policy comparison refers to examining how countries make rules and put them in action, and this includes areas like the following, like education and free schooling, health, universal health, economy, that is minimum ages, for example, environment, climate laws. Each country may handle the same issue differently. For example, Finland has a strong public education system, while Pakistan has a mix of public and private school system. Policy comparison helps us to see what works, what doesn't, and why. Types of government systems. Governments around the world use different systems to rule their people. These systems determine who holds power, how decisions are made, and how much say the public has. So we start with democracy. In a democracy, power lies with the people. Citizens choose their leaders through free and fair elections. These leaders make decisions on behalf of the people, and the features of democracy includes regular elections, freedom of speech and press, rule of law, and independent courts. Examples include India, the world's largest democracy with a parliamentary system; USA, a presidential democracy with checks and balance. There is a famous quote regarding democracy that democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others. That quote was mentioned by Winston Churchill. Monarchy. In a monarchy, the country is ruled by a king or queen. There are two main types: constitutional monarchy. For example, in United Kingdom, the royal family is symbolic, real power lies with the elected officials. Another one is absolute monarchy. The monarch has complete control over government decisions. For example, Saudi Arabia. Monarchs often inherit power by birth and stay in power for life. Then another type of government system is authoritarianism. In authoritarian system, power is held by one person or a small group. Citizens have little or no say in decisions, and the key features of authoritarianism include no real elections or only one party rule, limited freedoms of speech, media, and assembly. Power is often maintained through force and fear. Examples of authoritarian system include Korea, that is ruled by a single family with strict control. Similarly, China, where there is one party state under the Communist Party, and that has a strong central authority. Government can also be classified based on how power is distributed between the central and regional or state level governments. The two main systems are federal system. A federal system divides power between a central or national government and regional or state governments. Each level has its own responsibilities and they can make independent decisions in certain areas. Key features of the federal system include power is constitutionally divided. States or provinces have authority over local matters. Central government handles national concerns like foreign policy, defense, etc. USA, for example, states make their own laws, but federal law applies across the country. In Pakistan, provinces like Punjab and Sindh have their own governments and responsibilities. There are certain pros and cons. Encourages local participation. Policies can be tailored to regional needs, prevents concentration of power. Cons of the federal system include can use or can cause confusion or conflict between federal and state laws, and there is a slow decision making in emergencies. Government can also be classified based on how power is distributed between the national and local levels. The two main systems are unitary system. In a unitary system, most or all power is held by the central government. Regional authorities exist but only have powers that the central government chooses to give to them. Their key features include single unified government, local governments are controlled by the center, laws and policies are generally the same across the whole country. And examples include France, where there is strong central government with limited local autonomy, and China, where power is highly concentrated in the Central Communist Party leadership. Pros and cons. Pros include faster and more consistent decision making, easier to manage and implement nationwide policies, and there are strong national unity. Regarding cons, there are less local representation and are adaptation to regional needs and risk of or centralization and neglect of lower issues is there. A presidential versus parliamentary system. In a presidential system, the president is both the head of the state and the head of the government. The president is elected separately from the legislature and serves a fixed term in office. Separation of powers. The president is separate from the legislative branch, that is Congress or Parliament. Direct election. The president is elected by the people directly, typically for a set term, usually 4 years. Executive power. The president controls the executive branch, enforces laws and directs national policies. There are certain checks and balances. Other branches like legislature and judiciary limit the president's power. For example, in USA and Mexico, this happens. In parliamentary system, prime minister is head of the government, while the head of the state is typically ceremonial figures such as monarch or the president. This is just like in Pakistan. Prime minister here is chosen by parliament and is usually leader of the majority party. Fusion of powers. The prime minister and cabinet are drawn from the legislator. Prime minister's role is that PM is the head of the government and directs national policy and decisions. President as head of state. In many countries, the monarch or ceremonial president holds a symbolic role while the PM is the active leader. No fixed terms. The PM stays in office as long as they have majority and support in the parliament, and this includes example like UK, India and Pakistan. A role of institutions. In any government system, institutions plays a crucial role in ensuring proper functioning of the state. These institutions are divided into three main branches that each have unique functions, and these three branches include executive, judiciary and legislature, and they are also interconnected or interwoven. So far as the executive branch is concerned, it is responsible for enforcing the laws and implementing policies. The president or the prime minister leads this branch, and it includes the cabinet or a group of senior officials who help with the governance. Key features include head of state, president or monarch, and head of government is the prime minister, responsible for carrying out policies made by legislator. In presidential system, president leads executive branch like in USA. In parliamentary system, PM leads executive branch like in the United Kingdom. And responsibilities include enforcing laws and policies, directing national security, defense, and foreign relations, managing day-to-day operations of the government. So far as legislature is concerned, it is responsible for enacting laws. It is usually a parliament or congress that consists of the elective representatives. Key features include legislative debates and votes on proposed laws, checks and balances, executive branch by ensuring that laws made by government are fair and in public interest. In a bicameral system, there are two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate, for example, in USA. In a unicameral system, there is just one house, the parliament, like in Sweden. Responsibilities include like creating, amending, and repealing laws, budget approval and financial oversight, and representing the people by discussing public issues and concerns. We will discuss judiciary. Judiciary is the branch responsible for ensuring justice and interpreting laws. Courts led by judges are responsible for resolving disputes and ensuring that laws are applied fairly for all. Key features of judiciary include that judges are independent from the executive and legislature. The judiciary ensures that laws passed by the legislature align with the constitution and human rights. Courts decide whether laws or executive actions violate the constitution or not. Responsibilities regarding judiciary are interpreting and applying laws in individual cases, to ensure laws that are consistent with the constitution, and to protect rights and freedoms for all. Policy making process. As far as policy making is concerned, there are a number of steps involved in policy making, and the first step or the first stage in policy making process or policy making cycle is that of identification of the problems, policy formulation, approval, uh, application or implementation, and evaluation or review outcomes. So first of all, the government identifies the identification of the problem. Say for example, in the case of pandemic, was the major threat to public health and the economy. So in that case, the problem was identified. Regarding policy formulation, policymakers design a plan for health guidelines, vaccine distribution, economic support packages, and public safety measures. Regarding approval, the policy is approved by the executive branch of parliament, allowing for swift action. And as far as implementation of the policy is concerned, the government sets up health programs, provides vaccines, and enforces restrictions and educates the public. Finally, the government monitors the virus spread, vaccination rates, and economic recovery, making changes as needed. So this is how policy making process takes place. The process of making policies involves not just making decisions but also action on them and reviewing their results to improve future action. Types of policies. Public policies are the actions and decisions made by governments to address various issues affecting the country and its people. These policies can be grouped into different types based on the areas they addressed. Uh, First type of these policies are economic policies. Economic policies focus on managing the economy. The policies involve decisions related to taxation, trade, job, inflation, exchange rate determination, and government spending. The aim is to create a stable economy, encourage economic growth, and improve the standard of living as well as protection of the environment. These are the key areas that includes taxation or taxes, trade, employment generation, and a stimulus package that includes financial support given by the government to boost the economic during a crisis or a disaster. Some example are like during the COVID-19 pandemic, many governments introduced stimulus packages to support businesses and individuals who are struggling financially. These packages often included direct payments, unemployment compensation or benefits, and business loans. The second type of policies are social policies, which are aimed at improving the welfare of individuals and the society in large. These policies cover areas like health, education, and housing, and also ensure that citizens have access to these basic services and support. Key areas in social policies include health, that is, ensuring that each and everyone has access to affordable healthcare. Then education, that is, creating systems that provide quality education to all citizens regardless of their background. Housing, that ensure that everyone has access to affordable and quality housing. Uh, there is one notable example in Finland for its free education system, where education from primary school to university is free for all citizens. This policy helps ensure that every child, regardless of their economic background, has equal opportunities for education. The third type of public policies include foreign policies, which deal with the countries' relationships with the rest of the world. These policies help shape a nation's actions on the international stage, which include diplomacy, security, trade, and alliances. There are three key areas in foreign policies, and that includes diplomacy, security, and trade relations. One of the examples in the case of Pakistan is Pakistan's foreign policy on Kashmir, which is an example of foreign policy that addresses Pakistan's stance on disputed region of Kashmir and guides diplomatic relation with India. These issues has been a central point in the Pakistan's foreign policy for so many decades since its creation in 1947. Then we have environmental policies, which focus on protecting the environment and managing natural resources. These policies aim to reduce pollution, address climate change, and preserve biodiversity. Key areas in these policies are climate laws, that is, policies designed to reduce the effects of climate change, such as reducing carbon emissions and promoting renewable energy. Then we have pollution control laws and regulations that limit the amount of pollutants that can be released into the air, water, or land. Conservation is another key area in case of these policies, which means that or which refers to efforts to protect natural ecosystems and wildlife as well as biodiversity. Countries like Germany and the United Kingdom have passed strict climate laws that requires business and governments to take action to reduce carbon emissions. This includes policies that promote green energy, such as wind and solar power, and electric vehicles to combat climate change. We will now discuss the connection or the relationship between governance and development. Governance, as we have defined so many times earlier in many other slides or many other presentations in this channel, it refers to the way in which decisions are made and how these decisions are implemented or not implemented in the society, and it involves the structures, processes, and people responsible for governing. Key aspects of governance includes decision making, like how decisions are made, implementation, how these decisions are implemented and enforced, and monitoring how actions and results are tracked to ensure the goals are met. Governance is not only about those in power but also about who is involved in the process. Everyone should have the opportunity to participate and influence the decisions that affect them. Regarding development, it refers to the progress and improvements made in the society, whether in economic growth, education, healthcare, and other factors that improve the people's quality of life and standard of living of the masses, including landless labor and women and other minorities. Policy models describe the way in which decisions are made and how policies are developed in different countries or systems. These model depends on who make the policies and who and how those decisions are implemented. First of all, we will discuss top-down policy model, in which decisions are made by higher authorities such as government leaders, presidents, or monarchs. The policies are then implemented from the top and are expected to be followed by everyone below. Their key features include centralized decision making, common in authoritarian regimes, and faster decision making. For example, in North Korea, there is an example of a country with a top down policy model. The supreme leader makes most of the important decisions, and policies are implemented without much public consultation. There is another type of policy model, that is a bottom-up policy model. In the bottom-up policy models, local people, communities, and lower levels of government play an active role in creating and implementing policies. This model emphasizes participation and inclusivity from the ground level up. Key features include decentralized decision making, that decisions are made by citizens, local governments, and community leaders, and these policies are shaped based on the needs and opinions of the people. These are common in democracies. This model is often found in democratic systems where people have the right to vote their opinions and participate in the decision making process. Slow decision making, since this model requires input from many people and levels of government, policy making can take longer time as compared to top-down policy model. Uh, we can give an example like India. In India, local communities often participate in policy discussion about education or healthcare. Through public forums and local government bodies, local leaders such as panchayats or village councils may have a say in how policies are implemented and at the local level. Another type of policy models is mixed type, in which the bottom up and top down are mixed. So the mixed model combines both the top-down and bottom-up approaches, which involves decision making by both higher authorities and local communities, allowing for a balance of centralized and decentralized power. The key features in mixed models include blended decision making, that is, both central authorities and local governments work together to design policies. National policies may be made by central government, but local communities may be involved in implementation. These are common in many countries. Most countries, especially those with the democratic governance, use this mixed approach to ensure that policies are both effective and locally relevant. These policies have balanced approach. Because this model seeks to combine the efficiency of top-down decision making with the participation and inclusiveness of the bottom-up approach. We can give an example of the United States, which uses a mixed model, while that is, federal government makes national policies on issues like defense and foreign relations. State governments often have a say in how policies like healthcare and education are implemented locally. So, federal government refers to top down, and the state governments imply bottom up. Globalization and policy. Globalization refers to the process of increasing interrelationship and interdependence of the world's economies, societies, and cultures, which impacts how countries make policies, because decisions in one country can have an effect on other countries as well. Globalization means that world is more connected. In today's world, countries and regions are closely connected with each other due to the advancement of communication, technology, transportation, and trade. Decisions, policies, and events in one country can easily affect others. For example, an economic crisis in one country can lead to global market shifts. Policies in one country affect others. Issues like climate change, trade agreements, and international security requires cooperation and coordinated action and system. For example, climate policies in one country will have global benefits if adopted worldwide, but failure to implement such policies in major countries can have negative consequences for the rest of the world. International pressure on lead to policy convergence. Through international organizations, including the United Nations, World Trade Organization, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund, and global agreements like Paris Agreement on climate change, countries are required to adopt similar policies. For example, trade liberalization agreements like the NAFTA, that is North American Free Trade Agreement, have pushed countries to adopt similar trade policies in other regions of the world. Countries like India and China have adopted climate change policies influenced by international pressure and agreements leading to policy convergence on renewable energy initiatives. Conclusion. Comparative study helps us learn, adapt, and improve. By examining different governance models and policies from various countries, we can identify best practices, learn from mistakes, and apply successful strategies to our own context. No perfect system. Every governance system has its strengths and weaknesses. What works in one country might not work the same in another country due to differences in resources, culture, and political structures. Understanding others help make better policies. A comparative approach allows policymakers to be more informed, leading to better policy decisions and improved governance. Good governance is less about structure and more about practices. Final thought on this. The comparative study of governance and policy levels valuable insights into how different countries navigate their unique challenges. By examining diverse systems. We can apply the best solution to global problems like climate change, healthcare, and education that lead to better governance and develop worldwide. Thanks much for watching this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe the channel and don't forget to click on bell icon so that you can get notifications about my other videos that I'll upload for you.